Hi everyone, welcome in. It's Julie Maxon, the main stamper. I am here for Thursday at 3 and I am on time today, which is even better. I have the most adorable, fabulous card to share with you. It is very cute, extra berry cute. We've been playing with the polar bears from the Beary Cute bundle by Stampin Up. But more importantly, we've been celebrating Festival of Trees. So every week I've come to you for 4 weeks now in a row on a Monday for my Monday class, and I've chosen a stamp set that has at least one pine tree in it, and we've been talking about making trees with cards. Now for today's fun fold, I'm actually going back to the Beary bundle, the Beary Cute bundle, and we're going to focus on the polar bears. And this one, I'm going to just bring this card into you and show you how sweet and adorable it is. Now this is a fun fold, so that you're seeing the front of this card right here, but it's a fun fold. So let me open it and share with you how fun this is. This is going to open like this, and it's going to sit flat. So this part right here will sit flat. And then this is a pop-up frame. So you can see that it's got like a tunnel through it. And it's got a little floating mechanism here in the middle that makes it a fun pop-up card. It has a little floating effect and of course cute little polar bears, right? So there's really not a lot of stamping here. This is a lot of assembly. It's a lot of using the fancy designer series paper. Hi, Rhonda. And it's also using just simple scoring and assembly. So I can't wait to share this card with you. If you're on, hi Patty, if you're on my email newsletter list, you're going to get this recipe in your email newsletter today, which is late. Normally I send out my Thursday email the first thing in the morning. I am going to be sending it out here by early evening, and it will have this card recipe in it. So if you're not on my newsletter yet, you've got a few hours probably to get yourself on there so you can get this card recipe. Let's get over to my workspace. This one is a little bit involved. We've got a lot to do, so we're going to get right to it. Let me transition us over. All right, so as promised, when you get your email newsletter, you're going to see the directions here. You're going to see the card recipe, the supplies we're using, and I've got pictures here, right? So a little picture tutorial of the sample card that I'm sharing. I'm really excited about this. Now, this is not my card design. I want to say that first, right off the gate. Lisa Curcio came up with this adorable design. I was smitten. I could not come up with a better design than this. So I just actually I cased her and copied it because I couldn't make it cuter. It's the cutest thing in the world, right? So again, this is kind of a look at how it comes together. So we're actually going to put this together today. Now there is a little bit of fussy cutting going on here because this is the designer series paper sheet that you're going to use. So you're going to see here, this little bear with the two sleeping cubs is what I cut out. So I did a few things ahead of time so we won't be here, you know, too long, but I fussy cut the little bear, easy enough to do, right? For the inside, this little cute bear here on the inside, we're just going to use our nesting dies, and you're going to cut out this little bear right here. So you can see how this nested die is going to fit here perfectly. You can also cut out a little iceberg. So that is this little guy right here in the front. So that's how that all comes to be. Now for this card, you can use whatever nesting dies you have. You can use squares, you can use shapes, but you definitely need gradating sizes of your dies, because when you come to the part where you're going to cut out a background and you're going to cut out two other pieces, they're going to form this little floating mechanism, right? So you're going to need 3 in a row that are going to just kind of come down in gradating sizes. So I'm using the deckled circles. You can again use any of them. I use the from the stars dies. I use these for this little part up here. So I did pull out a different die set. Obviously you can decorate with whatever. Lisa has again really great samples on YouTube. If you check out her tutorials, she shares a couple of other designs, but this one was my absolute favorite. She didn't show how to make this card. She just shared what it looked like. So I spent some time dissecting her pictures so that I could figure that out. So again, you're using the Beary Sweet, super Beary Sweet, right? And the Beary Sweet bundle is on page 22 and 23 of your mini. We've been using it all week. We've been focusing on the trees. So from this great stamp set, we've been focusing on the trees. We haven't really been focusing on the polar bears. I am using a couple of sentiments in today's card, so I'll share that with you. We're using Night of Navy ink. And of course, we're doing some heat embossing as well. So there's heat embossing too. So this is the bones of your card. You're going to need to cut your paper, your card stock. For the base, you're going to want, this is the hot dog cut. This is in half exactly. It's 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to score this at 1.5. Let me make sure my trimmer's here so you can see 1.5. I'm going to use my scoring blade, not my cutting blade, at 1.5, and I'm going to slide it over to 5.5, and we're going to score it again. So those are the two scores. So there they are, right like that. So I'm going to just kind of bend them up here so you can see. That's exactly what we're going to do with the first part of the base. Now the second section of the card base is 7 inches by 4.25. So again, same sheet of paper. So you're using most of one piece of cardstock. You have a little bit of extra that can be used as a layering piece, which is great. And then we are going to take this one and we're going to do the same scoring again. We're going to score it at 1.5, and we're going to score it at 5.5. So that was easy enough, right? So I'm going to just burnish these a little bit. Let me move my trimmer aside and look for a bone folder real quick. So you will notice, if you're into the numbers and the math, right? We basically scored this evenly. So each side comes in at 1.5, which I thought was really awesome. Now this is the piece that has the cutaway in it. So to save on time, I did do a couple of things ahead of schedule. So this, again, same pieces right here, right? So it's scored just like this. And this is the section where you're going to use your largest die, whichever one you've got for your shapes, right? Just keep in mind that it can't be bigger than this piece of paper where you have your score line here, your score line here. You want to be able to fit it in here because, and again, this one it really takes up a lot of real estate when you use this size, because obviously we still need to be able to, you know, have a little bit of structure here to our base. So that's where that one is. So we've already die cut that one. So we're good to go here. Now we're going to decorate this a little bit, and I'm going to bring in some scrap papers. And this is where you would stamp on it or do something fun and fancy. And we're going to do some heat embossing. So let me bring in all my little heat embossing tools here. And I'm using the smallest snowflake stamp from the Polar Bear, the Beary Cute Stamp Set. I'm going to get my powder ready here. And we're going to just go ahead and we're only focusing on the section that is in between the score lines. And we're going to just go ahead and I'm going to just start putting little snowflakes on here. So we're just going to do some here off the side a little bit. We're going to go toward the bottom a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy here on this one, but you get the idea. You probably noticed on my sample, I did quite a heavy snowfall, which, you know, once you start stamping, sometimes it's hard to stop. So I think we should be good here. We're going to stop with that many snowflakes. Now I'm going to bring this back into my bin a little bit. I'm actually bringing it into my bin, which I think is kind of helpful to try to not get too much powder everywhere all over my work surface. I'm using my little spoon here, and I'm going to rotate this and come this way. And we're just making sure that all of the little snowflakes that I stamped have some powder on them. I think this one up here might need a little bit more. There we go. So you can see here where all of those have some nice white powder on them. Let me set this aside, but not too far aside, because we will also be heat embossing a little bit more than this as well. Now I like to come in with a paintbrush and just kind of touch up if I have like extra powder anywhere that I might not want to heat emboss necessarily. And while my heat tool is heating up, I can go ahead and start heat embossing these beautiful little white snowflakes. So we're going to get all of these done up, and it just adds a lot. Now you could do tone on tone stamping if you didn't want to do heat embossing. Again, depending on what colors you're using, if you have a lighter colored base here, you could just do some stamping directly on here as well. Making sure all my snowflakes are getting heated up nicely. Make sure you're saying hi as you jump on. I love to know who's watching this video tutorial. Whether you're watching live or replay, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your comments too. I like to go through and read them and just see what you're thinking of this entire process. If you're excited about this card, you plan to make some of these. I mean, it is a fancy card. Now, probably not one that you're going to make 50 of to hand out this Christmas, but you know, you could probably make a few. So just like that, we've got that part done. So I'm going to bring in my original here. You can see where I put a snowstorm on the first one. On this one for you, I didn't want to, you know, do too much. But there we go. So that's our decorated piece. Now we're going to work on all of this mechanism part. So let me move some things aside here and try to not lose things because we will be needing some of this stuff before. Now the next piece we're going to need is going to be our floating piece, the piece that makes everything float. So this is, I know it might be really hard to see, I'll bring it in here. Just kind of put it against. You can see the shine here in my light. This is the window sheets, and this is a piece that is 3/4 wide by, I think it's 3 7/8 long. Basically, it needs to fit on the back here in the middle between these two score lines. That's where we're going to be putting it. Now, I'm a tear and tape girl. I love the tear and tape, so I'm going to just bring in some tear and tape, and I'm going to make sure that I'm putting it at the very, very top of my window sheet, and I'm also going to put some at the very, very bottom. Like those are the only two places you need it, and you want it to be snug enough to the bottom and the top, so that, as I'm going to put this on here real quickly, so that you can see the white right now. The white is where the tape is going to be. So you want it to be behind the die cut, so you don't. So when you flip it over, you're just seeing like magic, right? It's like the magic piece. So it's just going to be just like so. Now you can use glue dots. I would recommend that or some really strong tape, but I wouldn't necessarily use the liquid glue here because that might not work. So as I'm working on the back side, right, the front side is decorated, I'm putting this on the back side, and I'm going to make sure that whichever side of tape is going to be closest to the bottom there, and just make sure your tape is hidden here, and you're just going to put it in the middle. So that's the back side. Here's the front side. So you can just kind of see that that's through there, and that helps to support our little floating pieces. Now I did die cut earlier some pieces. This is actually, oh my goodness, how cute is that? I didn't realize I die cut that so perfectly. This paper is just so stinking adorable. The opposite side of the paper that we're using today is this little blue snowflake scene. Now this just breaks my heart to put this guy on the back, but we do want this guy to be on the back, and we're going to put this guy on the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to sandwich them. So the blue back one, which is the larger, actually I should say the medium circle of my dies. So I've got the 3 dies. This is the medium, this one's the smallest. So we've got them in gradiating sizes from largest, medium to small. So we're going to go ahead and, where's my tear and tape? Bringing back in the tear and tape, because I love the tear and tape. I'm just going to put some here on the middle of the front facing piece. So this is going to be in the middle, and I'm going to show you again with the tape on there so you can kind of see where the tape goes, that it's going to come here behind and catch the this part of my little window sheet magic holder. We'll call this the magic holder, right? It's the floater piece. So I'm going to peel this off, and then I'm going to put this on here. Now basically I'm just going to set this down over top, and I'm focusing on my circle and my opening and trying to get it centered, making sure if you have an orientation of your paper that it would look lovely. And I'm just going to press down where the tape is, and that's again on the back. So the back side is going to be my little bear. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put this time I'm going to put the tear and tape on the back side of the polar bear, just like this, and then he's going to sit on top of that little window sheet magic piece. Okay, so there's that. We're just going to line this up again. I'm going to just kind of center him right here, tear and tape right like so. And there is my floating mechanism piece. So how cool is that, right? So you can kind of see, this actually is kind of cute on both sides now. Who knew? I didn't plan that, I promise. Okay, so let's come back to the beginnings of our card now, because we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on already. So we basically have this whole section done, but you can see there's a lot more to do. So let's focus on some of our layering pieces. For this card, it is kind of heavy on paper. Some of them are, some of them aren't, right? And you're going to see a little bit of sparkle here. Hopefully you can see a little bit of sparkle. And there's a little bit of sparkle on purpose up here in the corner. So how I got that is with Wink of Stella. And I'm going to actually add a little bit more to this one. So if you take your Wink of Stella and you take a bone folder and you tap your paper, tap this right onto it, right? So it's going to add the sparklies, and I don't know if it shows up or not, but this whole section up here has like a little bit of sparkle going on, and that's how easy it is to do that. So you can use your Wink of Stella and make things a little bit more magical, right? So this is going to layer onto one of my white background pieces. I'm just going to make sure we've got them, and we actually have 2 of these. We have 2 because I did put one and it's hard to see, but there is one here on the inside. Now you could put designer series paper on the inside as well, or you could just leave it. You don't necessarily have to decorate it. I just think it looks really nice to have all of those great matted layers and just beautifully finished. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on here. Now these are 1/8 inch bigger than the next, so you've got a very narrow mat here, and I think the narrow mat is more elegant than, I mean, I use the 1/4 inch mat mostly, right? So it just gives the tiniest little bit of the white surround here on both of these. So on this piece right here, this will be our front piece. Let me bring my card back in. Set that one aside. This is where my bear is going to go. So my little bear and my little iceberg, they're just going to come on here just like this. So again, I did fussy cut them out. So this is this piece right here, as you can see. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue that down. That goes down nice and flat. You just want to make sure you have room for your little mini iceberg. So just keep that little bit of room there on the bottom. You're going to see that my icebergs here are a little bit different in shape because I actually forgot that I needed that one. So I just kind of fussy cut a fake iceberg for this my card here on the right. So again, you can make the shapes work for you and don't even worry about it. Now for the die cut little stars, I did them earlier, and I just use a scrap of white, and I use the adhesive sheet on the back. So the adhesive sheet's a little bit more ivory or vanilla colored. So I have all these little stars right here, and they are super tiny, like so tiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to peel some of the backings off of here. Now I don't have to worry about gluing them, which is nice, right? When we have something super tiny, I may have to put these up super close to my eyes. Okay, so little backing comes off and the little stars go down just like that. And I couldn't figure out earlier when I made this card if it was actually easier to take the backing off of something so tiny and just pop it onto the paper, or if it would have been easier to add the tiniest little bit of glue. So again, that little paper comes off, and we put these little tiny stars on, and you can wiggle them around a little bit. They're not instantly stuck to the paper. There's a little bit of wiggle room, which is kind of nice. So let me see if I can get one more off of here. Here we go. The good thing I got a few fingernails today. I don't keep long nails, but I have some short nails, and that helps. Now, Take Your Pick tool is a really good friend for all kinds of stuff. I don't think I have any more tiny stars, so I'm just going to leave it at this for now. Oh, well, here's another one. They show up. These little guys are so tiny, I mean, like they're miniature tiny. So you could use other dies if you wanted to that maybe had a little bit of a bigger star to them. And I think I got this one. Oh, nope, I totally peeled off. I totally saved the non-sticky part. Okay, let's pop this on here and we'll just keep that one on here for now. Okay, so there you can see the little stars here up in the sky. There's my remnant of paper. And I have some bigger stars yet, but I didn't want to put too many big ones on there. But that is just like that. So let's bring in our base here. And I never did burnish this. Let's burnish this just a little bit. This was the original piece that was 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so if you fold it flat, you're going to see that there's a little bend right here at the bottom. So this is the front. So this is where this piece is going to go, just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and add this on to the front. Super cute. Again, really thin matting, which just adds that rich, elegant look. Oh, I think my little star right here is slightly wonky, but okay, we're okay with that. And then if you want to put this on the inside, this is where this would go. So it's on the exact opposite side of your front design. This is where you would decorate a little bit. So where you see the tunnel kind of through, you can put either, you know, some designer series paper. In our case, we're just adding an extra layer here as well. All right, so you can see we're missing Merry Christmas, and we have to have Merry Christmas. So again, I've got some layering pieces here, white and then Night of Navy. We're gonna go ahead and heat emboss our sentiment, Merry Christmas. So let's bring the heat embossing back in real quick. And then we'll be on final assembly here. So I haven't been checking messages. I've been really busy trying to get this card done for you so you can see how it does go together when you have all the parts and pieces. It goes together really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and close up my Versamark. We're gonna do the Merry Christmas heat embossing. And I just love this card. I think it's just so adorable. All right, I see a little tiny bit of powder right up there. which I would not like there. Okay, I think we're good. I need my lid. Let me cover this up. We try not to have powder accidents in the craft room. Okay, one more time, we're gonna just do a little bit of heat embossing, get that sentiment finished up. Bring in my cards here so you can kind of view and see where we're at with that. Okay, we're getting there. Merry Christmas looks good, nice and shiny. Now I'm going to go ahead and layer this onto my white cardstock here. So again, those really rich mats, this beautiful look of matting. This is just going to layer right on top of here. And your card recipe will have all the measurements just like I made for this card. And then you can choose to use different items if you would like to create it. So we're just going to add some adhesive again on the back of this layering piece, and this is going to fit here on the bottom. So again, we've got that fold that we made, that 1.5 inch fold that we made at the very beginning, and it goes right on here. Even if this was not a fun fold card, I think you could make a card just like this and it would be so cute, right? So this is the front of our card. Now we have to put together this all has to go together still. So we've got our pieces here. And what we're going to do is and just like my directions are going to show you. So when you get the directions and you're looking at this very bottom one, this shows you how this goes together. So I'm going to show you, we're going to be putting adhesive on this piece right here, which is the top of this one, and it's going to tuck right behind the Merry Christmas section. So at this point, it's going to look like a really long card. It's going to look really long. So we're going to put the adhesive there, and then we're going to put the Merry Christmas section right over top. So we're just going to make sure they line up nice and straight across there. Okay, so there is our Merry Christmas. Now it's all together just like one long piece. Okay, so now as we turn this inside out, or right side up, as I show you this side right here, now we still have a fold here, again from our original scoring. We're going to go ahead and put some adhesive here. So this piece right here is 1.5 inch scored. We're holding it closed just like this, and we're going to hold and just press it closed. I have embossing powder everywhere. The embossing powder does kind of make messes. Okay, so we're just pressing right here, and then this is going to provide that great pop-up mechanism. So this is what it looks like. Again, pops up. It's got that little cute pop-up shelf look, right? And then we have a little bit of room left here on the inside. So on the inside, I do have another piece of white paper, which I have right here. And I just want to make sure I've got it going in the correct orientation because it's not quite square. It's one of those that may trick you a little bit. So we're going to put Christmas is Better Together on the inside, and I'm using Night of Navy ink. And it's just going to go right on here. Beautiful. And then to make it even more fun, of course, we're going to add a little bit of designer series paper. This is just 1/2 inch of designer series paper that is 4 inches long. And that is the exact width of this white paper that is going to be our sentiment for the inside. So it's going to fit just right in here. I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive along this and pop this into the inside here. Christmas is Better Together right here. And again, it just looks so beautiful because it's the white and the navy. It's just matted beautifully, right like so. And the last thing we have is a little bit of bling. So we're just going to add some plain basic jewels, right? So these, I'm using the smaller ones just so that the stars are like a little bit shiny and twinkly. So I'm just going to add a couple of these up here and just put a few of them in with the wink of Stella, the little die cut stars. I mean, how cute is that, right? So there it is. The pop-up shelf card. I think that's what that's called. Pop-up frame card. I'm sorry, the pop-up frame card. Super cute. I love this bear. I mean, it couldn't be cuter, right? So this is what it's going to look like. You can obviously check out Lisa Curcio's YouTube videos. She has some great tutorials where she shares even more ideas with this. And don't forget, check my email newsletter later for your card recipe for this one. Wow, that was a long tutorial. I tried to be as quick as possible. And I'm glad you guys are liking this. Thanks, Rhonda. It is really awesome. Jess loves the card. Patty's cute. It is a cute card. And like I said, I fell in love with Lisa's card and I couldn't possibly make it better. Hi, Roxana. I'm glad you think so too. It's beautiful. I'm like, there's no way. I'm just going to do exactly how she did it. I figured it out. There was a little bit of figuring going on. So I did some figuring on how she made hers, and I made mine look pretty much just the same. And that's what I expect from all of you, right? You can copy this idea. You can change this idea. You find other ideas that you think are inspiring to you. And then you sit down with your products and you create, and that is just the absolute best. Thank you so much. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, it is adorable, isn't it? Thank you for joining me for this Thursday at 3. This was a little bit longer, but there was a lot of pieces and a lot of moving parts. We did some heat embossing too, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. This is definitely one where you want that really cute Beary Christmas paper. It is still available. You never know when things are going to run out of that holiday catalog. So thank you so much for joining me for Thursday at 3. I will check out your comments and see what you think of this adorable card. I just absolutely fell in love with it too. But until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye, everybody.